here on the Suzette Speak Show, giving you a little bit of vibes before we come in to some serious business. I want to welcome you if you're listening all across South Florida. How are you? It's a Fire Friday, my favorite time of week here at the Voice of the Caribbean. If you guys are new, I'm Suzette Speaks. I'm a TV host, attorney, now radio host. Yes, a 1 year anniversary. I can't believe it's been so long. I've been here trying to give you news you can use, commentary, social media trends, you know what it is, hot topics. And today is no exception. I have a gentleman who is the chairman of the Florida Constitutional Amendments Network. I'll say it again, Florida Constitutional Amendments Network. And he is going to talk about some constitutional amendments that will be coming up on the ballot. Now, when you are going to the supermarket, going around about your business, and there's always these people asking you, please sign these constitutional ballot petitions so we can get them on the ballot come, and now in our case, next year, 2026. Sometimes we get annoyed. Sometimes we don't want to do it, but this is the way that the people of the great state of Florida can and oftentimes should let their voices be heard so that we can put questions directly to the population. So you can hear him in the background. Sir, are you ready, Mr. Chris? Good afternoon. How are you? Thank you. Thank you so much. I had the pleasure of listening to him give a wonderful presentation earlier this week at a club meeting describing what he does and describing what's coming up on the ballot so that we can understand what's happening. So he's going to talk about specifically HB 1205 or 125. But before we get to all of those things, how we as citizens have current right to put questions directly to the voters that can go into the Florida Constitution. I'm going to break it all down. It sounds like a lot, but I want him to inform us so that our community understands what these petitions mean when we see people asking us to sign a petition and how it can impact the lives of all Floridians, okay? So welcome, Chris. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate the opportunity, and great to be here, specifically on the celebration of your anniversary. No better moment.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm grateful. It sounds like you're on the move, sir. I know you are working hard. So tell people who you are and what it is you're working on.
Yeah, so I'm the chair of the Florida Constitutional Amendments Network, which, fancy title, basically means we're working to get done what politicians won't get done in Tallahassee. Precisely what you said, this petition process allows us to get proposed amendments onto the ballot that we, the citizens, then get the opportunity to vote on. And it's a constitutional right. It's been there for us now for many, many years. And unfortunately, right now, it's under threat precisely because of that law, HB 1205, that has been passed and signed and is going into full effect July 1st. So that's what we're up against. But in essence, this story really begins at the beginning of this year, where we formed the Florida Constitutional Amendments Network because we heard that there was this effort from Governor DeSantis and some legislators to try and crush our constitutional rights and our petition rights. So we formed this organization to start organizing, to start building that people power that can help make sure we continue to get these good ideas onto the ballot. And the first idea that came out of that effort, that organization that we formed, was, I think, something that we've seen has gotten lots of bipartisan support across Republican, Democrat, Independent, doesn't matter what your party is. Every one of us agrees that insurance rates are too damn high in Florida, right? So the very first thing we put together at the beginning of this year was the proposed amendment to offer an annual reduction in your insurance rates. We started with that effort, and then the legislative session started, and we started hearing that there was an actual bill that had been filed to make the process to get that insurance rate reduction on the ballot and any other proposed amendment nearly impossible. And there was a lot of questions about what that was going to look like, and how difficult they were going to make the process. So we kind of were monitoring it for the 60 days of the legislative session, which was supposed to have ended back on May 2nd. And we had the governor and a number of the Republican legislators worked for the full 60 days, back and forth, trying to find every possible restriction that they could put on your constitutional rights, your voice, your ability to collect signatures to sign these petitions even. And they spent all 60 days going back and forth on this, to the point that HB 1205, which is the petition, I call it the petition killing bill, did not pass until what would have been the last day of legislative session on May 2nd, so just about a month ago. And this a long time, I've never seen a governor sign a bill as fast as he signed this one.
Wow.
1205 within an hour of it passing.
Okay, I'm gonna just stop you real quick, because I think there are a lot of people who understand how constitutional amendments that are done by petition work, and there may be some listeners who don't understand the process. So our show here, the Suzette Speak Show, Mr. Chris Wills is here from the Florida Constitutional Amendments Network. We're giving you a lot of information. We want to break it down for you. He does have a website, flamendments.com, flamendments.com. So anything that we talk about today, you can also go on the website, flamendments.com, to get more information. So before we get into the change, let's talk about how the process works now. Let's educate our audience on what their right is as of today. Now, again, a bill just passed, as he described, HB 1201, which is going to take away the rights of people to be able to sign a petition that will bring an idea, a cause, an issue directly to the voters. So right now, in the state of Florida, as of today, we have the right to put an idea on the ballot by getting our fellow citizens to sign a petition. And if enough people sign that petition saying, this is a good idea, I want, for example, ones we've had in the past, the medical marijuana petition, you guys remember that? The right to, a woman's right to choose petition, you might remember that one. But now the legislature, right, in Tallahassee, the State House of Representatives and the State Senate have decided now to change the rules about these petitions so that it further takes away and limits the voters, the people of Florida, from having the opportunity to change laws the way they have been for decades, right? So anytime you had an idea, you wanted your fellow Floridians to be able to use medical marijuana for personal use. Wait, the legislature doesn't want to do it? Nope, we can sign a petition and we can get enough of our fellow Floridians to sign it and therefore put it on a ballot, and everyone gets to vote on it. And if it was a certain percentage of the vote, I think it was 60%, it passed into the Constitution. But now I want you to explain, Mr. Chris, what are the changes that this new bill that you've just referenced, okay, HB 1205, you can also look that up, guys. Again, this is the Suzette Speak Show. We're doing some heavy lifting today, but we wanted to inform the public because this issue is so important. Right now, the citizens of the state of Florida always had the right to get signatures to put an idea in front of other Floridians, their fellow voters, to vote for a change in the Constitution or to not vote for a change. But HB 1205, which he has just described, does what, Chris? Break it on down.
Yeah, so I'm really glad you framed it that way because, like I said, this journey started with a really good idea that's got a lot of bipartisan support to help reduce our insurance rates. And I think if the listener who's hearing us right now asks themselves, what has the governor of the state of Florida, what have the Florida legislature passed in the last few years, 4 to 6 years, think back, that has really benefited you, that has made your life better, that has helped you and your family succeed. I think most people would be pretty hard pressed to think of anything, right?
They've taken away a lot more rights than they've given us. I hear you.
Exactly. Take away rights, culture wars, literally now this past legislative session not even being able to pass a budget because they've been engaged in all this foolery that we've been seeing. So because the reality is that in Tallahassee, good ideas can get bogged down and not passed, our state constitution gives us the power, the right to talk to our fellow neighbors, talk to our fellow voters here in Florida, and urge them to join us in supporting and getting a good idea onto the ballot by collecting petition signatures. Precisely the process that you were talking about, folks at the grocery store, sometimes going door to door, at gas stations, wherever the public is at events. They ask folks to sign a petition, and by collecting about 1 million of them, it qualifies an issue to appear on the ballot because 1 million of our fellow Floridians said, "Hey, this is a good enough idea that I think the rest of the voters should have a chance to consider it." And then it appears on the ballot, and as of a couple years ago, with 60% of the vote, becomes a right in our Constitution. Said, and then we mentioned earlier, HB 1205 aims to basically crush that process.
Wow.
One of the provisions in the law says that any citizen is able to challenge every petition collected by any petition circulator, right? So we know that that's a direct effort by the governor and the legislature to be able to identify, those who have collected the largest number of signatures or those who they can try to disenfranchise, to make sure that efforts that are currently ongoing, like our initial one, which is to help reduce your property and auto insurance rates and all insurance rates across the state of Florida, which we desperately need. The effort to expand Medicaid, which is another proposed amendment for the 2026 ballot, and so many other good proposed amendments. This provision and so many others that they put into HB 1205 will make it almost impossible to qualify these. And they say that it's in the name of keeping special interests out of the state of Florida, when in fact, what they're doing is making sure that those special interests who have lots of money to pay all the fines that they're putting in place if you haven't turned in a petition by 10 days and all these other foolish provisions that they put into HB 1205, they're basically making sure that only special interests who have very, very deep pockets that are, I guess, aligned with the current governor and the current legislature can get anything on the ballot. And I want to make something really clear that, this is not partisan, because the reality is we know the political pendulum does shift. And at some point, this state will have a Democratic governor and will have a Democratic legislature. And so to say that only the people that are in power should have the ability to set the agenda, and they should be able to silence what it is that you would like to see done in this state. And quite frankly, we know that the governor and the legislature, the agenda that they set is set by special interests, right? Is set by the folks that have the very deep pockets. Just ask yourself this one simple question, which is kind of a tangent to what we're talking about, but it'll help click things for you in your head real quick. We are the Sunshine State. Why is Florida not leading in solar energy? Well, because there's a special interest in Tallahassee called SPL, right?
Yeah.
Blocked those efforts effectively for years, right? And so this petition process is the process by which we could help ensure that there's more investment into solar energy, into renewable energy, into all the things that Tallahassee, whether it be a Democratic, Republican, or otherwise, governor or legislature, that they actually do the things that we, the people, want them to be doing. Just engaging in the agenda that those special interests put in front of them to get passed into law. So this law, again, was signed in record time on May 2nd. That's HB 1205. The good news is it doesn't go into a full effect until July 1st. And so we are in a sprint for signatures, right?
Yes.
Calling this the summer to save the Sunshine State, right? Where together, if we work together, we know we can collect enough signatures to get a second amendment that we have proposed in addition to the reduction of insurance rates amendment that we proposed at the beginning of the year. We have a second proposed amendment that would undo all of the restrictions that are in HB 1205 that the governor and the legislature are trying to impose on this petition process. The amendment says very simply that this citizens initiative process shall only be restricted by us, the citizens.
I love it.
If it's our citizen initiative process, why should any governor or legislature tell us what we can and cannot do with this process? We should be the ones that restrict it, and there are already plenty of restrictions in the Constitution. So,
Mr. Chris, I'm just gonna jump in because we are 30 seconds before our first partner break. So we are going to have you back right after this break. I don't go anywhere, y'all. We're doing some heavy lifting, describing what's going on in Tallahassee. This is very important information about the petition, what we call constitutional amendment process, signing a petition to be able to bring your ideas to your fellow Floridians so that they can vote on them. The legislature and the governor have now put in place HB 1205, which will limit the ability for citizens to collect petitions in order to present their ideas to other voters. And Mr. Chris Wills, who is the chairman of the Florida Constitutional Amendments Network, which can be found at flamendments.com, flamendments.com, so that you can get more information on what we're talking about. But we got to go take a quick pause for the cause. We'll be right back. And again, hold tight, Chris. We'll be right back with more Suzette Speaks Show right after this.
Denise D. Grant from the beautiful city of Lauderhill. I look forward to seeing you this Saturday at 9 a.m. at the Lauderhill Station as we will walk for the safety of our community, the future of our children, and for quality of life for our residents. Come out and walk with me as we walk for the progression of Lauderhill. Look forward to seeing you again. This is going to be Saturday, June the 7th at 9 a.m. at the Lauderhill Police Station located at 6279 West Oakland Park Boulevard. Again, 6279